I'm Salad, Mint Salad, and I saw The Spy Who Loved Me. It is directed by Lewis Gilbert, written by Christopher Wood and Richard Maybaum. If you haven't seen this movie, I will spoil it for you. This movie starts a British and a Soviet Union submarine disappear. By the way, this is the 70s, so we're in the heat of the Cold War. I feel like the last movie was kind of about the Cold War too. I suspect that all of these James Bond movies coming up until the end of the Cold War are going to be about the Cold War in some way. Pretty much immediately this movie opens with James Bond having sex, or at least making out. It's implied that he had sex with this chick already. What I love about the beginning is that I thought that Triple X was the guy. I thought he was the dude. And then it's shown that it's the chick, and I was like, man, this guy kind of looks like James Bond. He looks a lot like James Bond, and I thought that he was James Bond until the next scene where it's shown that James Bond, actual James Bond, is making out with a chick and is having a great time about it. A blonde chick. He goes and gets the call, and they're like, yo, some subs were stolen. You gotta grab them. Grab the subs, please. And James Bond is like, all right, I guess I will grab the subs. Also, this chick's like, I guess I gotta grab the subs. And they eventually end up pairing up with each other to find out where the submarines are, even though they're on complete rival sides. You know, one for the Soviets and one for the British. And they have a rivalry. They seem to have a competition to get the specific device, and James Bond gets it, but then she ends up seducing her and then steals it from him, and I'm just like, man, women, right? This chick knows her value. She knows what her strengths and weaknesses are, and she exploits that against James Bond. And it seems like she doesn't want to be James Bond's side piece necessarily. She's just trying to get a mission done. But I like how eventually they have an affection for each other. There's also a guy. His name is Jaws, and he has metal teeth, and he's pretty cool. I like how he just chomps his way through everything. If he needs bend metal, he just... Not only is he metal teeth, he's incredibly big and strong. So if he can't take a piece of metal and bend it, he'll just bend it with his teeth. Like, the scene where he bends James Bond's gun with his teeth is pretty epic. I thought it was really cool. The reason why this movie is called The Spy Who Loved Me, James Bond killed the husband or lover. It's not confirmed whether they were married, but definitely lovers. I just find it hilarious because they're in like a fling together, and she's like, well, I'm gonna kill you, James Bond, after this mission is over. I'm like, okay, good luck with that. He's just gonna woo you not to murder him. Turns out the big bad honcho, he stole the nuclear devices so he could set a war to happen. He likes the marine life too much. He has an underground office where you can look at all the marine life, and I find that to be pretty neat. But he also has this elevator that has a hatch that opens from the bottom and dumps you into the water. And I like how when James Bond entered this office for the first time, he noticed that there's this hand that was not fully eaten. He's like, oh, something wacky is going on here. And it's demonstrated on several other people that they've fallen for the elevator. Haha, fallen. Get it? It's up to James Bond to stop these submarines from shooting the missiles that they have. They have nuclear missiles on the submarines, by the way, to destroy the world. There's a scene where James Bond has to like go into this really cool boat room where it's just her tied up and kept captive, and he has to go save her before this boat explodes. And Jaws is on that boat, and they're having a big old fight. Jaws is delaying James Bond, but James Bond is able to go aboard and be able to safely leave this boat before it explodes. And it explodes, by the way. And Jaws, I'm like, man, Jaws, that better have killed you. You look like a tough fellow, but could you survive a boat explosion? But also, we got the submarines. They're going to shoot the missiles at each other and cause nuclear war, and James Bond has to stop that. And I like in the way that he does stop it. How they fix it is that they send the nukes to each submarine. And so with the nukes at the submarine, I guess most of the blast is contained by the water, but there's still a huge blast. And I wonder, how does the radiation work on this? I don't know. I guess the radiation is in the water now. Rip those fish. And then James Bond, he ends the movie by making out with the chick in the rescue pod. And I guess there's this bed in this rescue pod. I don't know why there would be. And also a bunch of champagne. I guess it's that guy's rescue pod or something. And they have a good old kissu session. His sex total, it's pretty astronomical. He has sex with the first chick. And then he bangs a couple other chicks. I think he has sex with in total 3, with the last chick being the person that he's been going after for the most of the movie, and then he has sex with her, and it's pretty cool. When they have sex, it's very satisfying because they're rivals throughout. And do I like this movie? It's a fun experience. I like how there's a little bit of complexity to the love dynamic because James Bond killed the lover, and I feel like the purpose of the movie, I mean, I like the action scenes, but I mostly like seeing the relationship between James Bond and that chick. And they're all rivals, and their governments hate each other, so it's just hilarious to me. So I gotta give this movie, I like it a lot. It's a solid 7.2 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another on the platform you like, set $20 dinos, patreon.com/ASEPresents, 1 movie review per 1 month. Go to this link tree to support the daily grindiness of all them daily movie reviews, so go here. And until next time, Mint Salad saw, I'll see you later, my salad croutons, baked bits.